Hi everybody, welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be showing you a Halloween card I made using the Simon Says Stamp Halloween Card Kit 2016. So I started by stamping out the characters that I wanted to use on the card, and I'm going to be colouring them in using my Pro markers. I will list the full list of colours that I'm using in the description and on my blog, which I'll also link to. I'm using the Simon Says Stamp white £120 cardstock that also comes with the kit. This is really great for blending alcohol markers. It's a really smooth texture, so it works really well. I'm going to use a fairly limited colour palette for this. I don't want to make it too complicated, and I'm sticking with the pretty much generic Halloween colours, so the purples, greens, oranges, greys, whites, that kind of thing. So I will turn on some music and let you watch me colour for a while. So once I finish colouring the little children characters in, I'm going to fussy cut them out as they don't come with a coordinating die set. As you might see at the bottom here, my black marker bled over the line slightly into the white. So to fix this, I'm just using my Sakura Jelly Roll pen in white just to neaten up some of those edges and make it look a bit neater. For the background panel, I'm going to start by using some more of that £120 Simon Says stamp white cardstock, and I'm using the large stitched square stackable die cuts from Lawn Fawn, and I'm using the largest one and running this through my Big Shot machine. And then I'm going to use the Memory Box Fine tree branch stencil that comes in the Halloween card kit. Now, to use this, as it is so fine, I'm going to roll some temporary adhesive onto the back so that it sticks down to my cardstock and it doesn't lift when I use my distress inks over the top. So I'm just going to roll a load of that temporary adhesive, and any bits that kind of look a bit spiderwebby or haven't stuck to the stencil, I'm just going to rub so that it comes away, and then I'm going to stick it down to my card panel. Any bits that haven't stuck down properly, I'm just going to add a bit more of that temporary adhesive. As you'll see, there's a couple of bits on the side where I just touch it up so that it sticks to the paper as much as possible. I want as much of a crisp white background underneath this as I can, so it stands out against the distress inks. So the distress inks that I'm going to be using today are Spiced Marmalade, Abandoned Coral and Seedless Preserves. I'm going to start with the Spiced Marmalade at the bottom. I've sped this up a lot because it took me quite some time to blend this. I had to be quite delicate over that stencil so that it didn't lift or tear it. So a lot of the time I kind of dabbed and then rubbed afterwards so that I could get that ink on the page, but without lifting that stencil too much. So it did take quite a bit of time to work with this, a bit more than normal if I was just doing a plain blended background. So bear with it because it does take a little bit of time, but it's worth the patience. So once I've got that Spiced Marmalade in at the bottom, I'm then adding the Abandoned Coral at the middle point and blending that into the Spiced Marmalade. Then I'll blend in the Seedless Preserves from the top, and I'll keep going back with the different colours so that I can blend out that harsh line that separates them. It's a little bit more difficult with the stencil being so delicate, but I'm pretty pleased with the overall finish. So once I've got it blended, I then carefully remove the stencil. The best way to clean this off is with a baby wipe, just so it gets all that leftover ink off the stencil. So you'll see that when I lift this, it leaves the white card underneath. Some of the areas there is a little bit more faded, but I actually was really happy with how it came out. So once that is done, I'm now ready to move on to the next part. As the card kit came with some really cool doodlebug papers, I really wanted to use one of them as the background, but I didn't want anything that was too busy that would take away from the main section of the card. So I just used some of this green pinstriped paper and cut it down to the size that I needed using my Fiskars paper trimmer. For the sentiment, I thought it would be nice to use some of the black cardstock that comes in the card kit as well. And I used the Boo to You sentiment. It's two little sentiments that I put together, and I'm going to heat emboss these with some embossing powder just to make it stand out. So the Boo sentiment I heat embossed with silver, and it's the Paper Mania silver embossing powder. And then for You, I just used some generic white embossing powder. It's so old, I don't know which brand it is. So I just heat embossed these and then trimmed it down with a fishtail finish, ready to adhere to the base of the card. To adhere my pattern paper down to my card base, I'm going to use my ATG Scotch roller, and I'm going to use this on both pieces, so that's going to be fairly flat, and I'm just removing any of that leftover adhesive with a piece of cloth. For my little characters and the sentiment, I wanted these to be dimensional, so I used some of the Scotch 3D foam tape just to add a bit more dimension and interest to the little characters and the sentiment at the top. Now, me being me, I can't stop at adding bits and pieces, so I added the little trailing spider that looks like it's hanging down from the sentiment from the same stamp set, and I also add some of the little bats in as well with some Memento Tuxedo black ink. The card kit also came with these really cool Doodlebug eerie eyes, the 3D dimensional glossy eyes. So I used my We Are Memory Keeper's quick stick tool to pick up some of these eyes and adhere them to the little children characters. To finish off the card, I'm adding some Wink of Stella clear glitter pen to the fairy wings, and I'll also onto the crown, and then finally I'll use my Sakura white jelly pen again just to add some highlights and little accents, and also add eyes to all the bats and the spider. So that finishes the card for this week. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like, comment and subscribe, and I'll be back next week with a new video. Bye!